Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our regular council meeting. I'll call this meeting to order at 7 o'clock with the adoption of the agenda. I'd like to pull out 11.1 out of information and put it in, sorry, it's not 11.1 in information, but it's in information, and put it as 11.1 for new business. And 11.2, that's the municipal development plan. So those two are added to new business instead of information. Is there any other additions? If not, could I have someone move the agenda, please? Councillor Lebrion, all in favor? Carried.
Aye.
The minutes of the regular meeting from January 27th. Under 13:11, it should say there were no new business items. Is there any other changes? Could someone move the minutes then, please?
I will move the minutes.
Councillor Welke, all in favor? Carried. So on February 3rd, I attended a CRAW meeting, Community Rail Advocacy. We will be holding a meeting at Grow the North. We're just setting up and finalizing some details, such as the date and where it's at, what room it will be in for those of you attending. And it's going to have some ministers in there, so I will let you know. Boreal Housing, as you recall, we are short CAO. Well, we're not short, but she's not here, and a few other people, key people, but we continue to operate, ensuring delivery of our housing services. We have put out an ad for a housing manager, an interim housing manager. We have quite a few applications, so we will be running through those. We did hire another maintenance person here in High Level, so we're making sure that the maintenance is ongoing, and we're working on the budget. I wanted to talk about strategic aviation, which I believe you may have added, but the government of Alberta has appointed members of the Strategic Aviation Advisory Council to assess regional airports and the services and the recommended strategies to enhance their long-term sustainability. And this task force team will evaluate our operations here at High Level. And this initiative aligns with what the Premier's directive was for economic corridors and to develop Alberta's regional airports. So a consulting firm has been hired by this task force, and their goal is to assess the local readiness to support expanded passenger services at our airports. So the town of High Level is engaging with Aviation Council, and meetings are being set up, and they are going to be completed by February 6th. We have a whole raft of questions to answer. CAO, I do believe that Luke is looking after, or is getting all the stakeholders gathered and
Through your worship, yes, that is correct.
And have we set up a meeting date?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay, so that is one of the things that we hope to get in action. Hopefully we'll get another airline here. Did you have a question?
February 26th,
Oh, what did I say?
6th. It's over already.
Oh, February 26th. Okay, and the other one was a rural engagement tour by Minister Sawney from Advanced Education. She plans to visit rural communities across Alberta to discuss the importance of apprenticeship education and skilled trades. And this tour is going to be focused on promoting trade opportunities. Mike McMahon and I are setting up a tour. Once again, no date. Mike was going to reply to the minister and let her know that we will tour her here through high level, going through pathways in different industries. And so when we get a firm date, I'll let council know, and if any of you would like to come on that tour with Minister Sawney, you're welcome to. And that's my report. Is there any questions? Could I have someone move it then, please?
I'll move the mayor's report.
Thank you, Councillor Welke. All in favor? Carried. Moving on to council committee reports. Deputy Mayor.
On January 28th, I attended the Upper Hay Regional Forest Public Advisory Group. They presented their forest management plan for the next 5 years. It's now complete. So that group probably will go back to quarterly meetings for now. It's been quite a process, and I think everyone's happy that they're finally through that. Then earlier today, I attended the Northwest Species at Risk board meeting. Essentially, they're looking at trade shows and then the ABMI contract and updating their equipment. There was a little presentation on wolf and predator management. They're hoping to have a booth at AFPA this year. So something to keep in mind if someone happens to be there. And that's it.
Who did the predator management?
It was just a update thing. Really wasn't a ton about it.
Oh,
Sorry, Terry Batt locally had said that he really hasn't seen many wolves up in his area so far this winter. So
okay, thank you. Councillor Anderson.
January 30th, he attended the library board meeting, and on February 4th, the Golden Range Society. That's all I have to report on.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Jessamine.
I have nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. Councillor Lambert.
On February 4th, or sorry, maybe not the 4th. Yeah, the 4th, I attended a Chamber of Commerce meeting.
Councillor Lebrion.
On January 30th, I was also at the High Level Library Board meeting, and that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Councillor Welke.
January 28th, I had an FASD Society meeting, and we toured the progress on the old Bare Necessities building, and the reno is coming along, so should be finished by this spring. And that's all, save for I did hear back from the Secretariat of Alberta Health today. They still have not decided on membership for their new health advisory councils, but they will keep me updated. And they also mentioned, should I want to withdraw my application, I can do so, but I don't. I'm just waiting for some actually traction on that council, but it seems to be moving slowly. So that's all I have to report.
Probably because there's no CAO or board members.
Well, yeah, but this is an AHS.
Oh, it's
No,
through
this
the
is
government?
direct to the ministry, yeah. Yeah, no,
She was at a prayer breakfast, what do you expect?
but that's all I have, thank you.
All right, thank you. Could I have someone move council reports, please? Deputy Mayor, all in favor? Carried. Administrative reports, CAO.
Good evening, Your Worship and Council. HR matters continue to occupy a significant portion of my time, and I will provide details during our in-camera session. In addition, I'm diligently collaborating with staff to finalize our 2023 and 2024 year-end. This is essential for advancing the audit processes and meeting our statutory obligations with the province. Our efforts include accounting for grant funds, reconciling expenditures, collecting outstanding balances owed to the municipality, including the $2 million in disaster recovery payments, among other outstanding balances. I am also working on the 2025-2027 budget, the annual report, the new medical co-response protocol and procedure, gathering information for the meeting with Minister McIver, and also trying to compile a revised capital project list for council's consideration. And furthermore, I have collaborated with staff to prepare a tenancy lease agreement for one of the airport houses. And lastly, I held meetings with the senior leadership team, consultants, and members of the public. I welcome any questions.
Questions from council? You've been busy.
And this is just some of it. I didn't list it all.
Remembering I have a meeting with the chief for Valentine's Day.
Yes. Okay.
All right, thank you. Could I have someone move the administration report, please? Councillor Lebrion, all in favor? Carried. Pension plan enrollment is 9-1.
Through your worship, this is a housekeeping item. It is my understanding that this came before council through interim CAO or my predecessor. I am not sure, but I understand that it wasn't formally ratified, so I brought this forward for council's consideration.
I have a question on, it says implementation of APEX, which is a supplementary pension plan. It says it must follow the adoption. Does that mean must, in that we have to take that as well as the other plan?
No. The LAPP, no motion is required to enroll, but for Apex, we do need a motion, yes.
And it's only for directors?
Or CAO, yeah.
And so this LAP, to enroll in it, we can enroll 1 or 2 or 3 or how many other people want to enroll?
Through your worship, yes, that is correct.
But new hires, if we adopt this, must enroll in this.
Correct.
Any questions from council?
I have one. Oh, sorry.
Deputy Mayor?
My recollection last time we talked about this, that really this is more of a staff decision than a council decision. Whether we had polled the staff to see what their wishes were, because the town used to be in LAPP for years and years and years, and probably for about the last 10 years, it's been the RRSP model that was staff's initiative to switch out. So before we force staff, well, I guess current staff have the option of staying or enrolling, but, you know, given that they have that option, I guess I'm less leery about just jumping into this, but I'd be interested to know what the staff's position is, whether people simply prefer the RRSP or.
Well, if they if they do prefer it, they can stay with it.
Just for new staff, though, if they were to prefer the RSP, they won't have that option. And I know some of this is about trying to attract, other staff and, the defined benefits plans, they're becoming fewer and farther between, but to get the big benefit, you've got to pay into these for a long time.
I guess probably the benefit of this is you can take this with you wherever you go. Like if you transfer to Grimshaw or wherever who has the plan, you get to take it with you. Whereas the RSP, you just quit here.
Okay, but you
Yeah, I
maintain
get
your
it.
own
I
RSP
get
and
it.
get to do whatever. But
But I think for people that are entering this workforce and wanting to advance themselves, it has great benefits.
for sure, but again, I think this is more of a staff than a council decision.
I think there has to be a resolution of council, does there not? To say that we will sign them up.
I agree, that's just my question, whether
Oh.
this is what the staff want or not.
I'm not sure.
Through your worship, we cannot speak for the newcomers, but the current staff have the option to opt in or opt out.
And, I mean, if we're into a LAP program, new staff really don't have a say. So, sorry.
That's okay. That was kind of my question is, are there requirements within the LAP program that it needs the numbers in order to function, and that's why new hires would not have the choice, or why can't everyone just have the choice?
The intent here is to attract a new hire that will stay with the corporation for years, and then that will be beneficial to them in joining the LAPP program. Especially if they come from a different municipality and they're already contributing to.
Right, but then couldn't it still just be the choice, like, so that they would know that it was in place and they could utilize it if they're newly hired here, but that it's still a choice whether or not, but it's here? Or do they have to?
The intent here was to ask them to join the program moving
I
forward,
think
but we
the
can ask.
intent is to phase out the RRSP
Right.
and have a dedicated benefit plan.
I guess on the flip side of that, why were so many staff hesitant to engage in these sort of benefit programs that the town is putting forth? Was it that they felt the benefit wasn't there, that they lost control of their own investing, or because it seems like if it's an attraction, was it not communicated well to the staff of the benefits of joining, and then they were leery of it?
Through your worship, I believe that to be the case. Obviously, I cannot speak for past practices, but I intend on bringing the LAPP and the APEX representatives to do a proper presentation to staff, have the financial consultant here to answer their questions and how this will impact them financially so they can make an informed decision whether to opt in or opt out.
I had kind of a similar concern, but you've already answered it. As long as the employees who are used to receiving the current RRSP, because from what I understand, they're using it as supplemental income. So I don't want them to be forced to change. I don't see a problem with this program. I think it's a better idea for their money to be put away for their retirement. Yeah, as long as they're not being forced, I don't have any issue with this.
Councillor Anderson?
Is this LAP program or defined benefits program transferable if, say, somebody left here and went into private industry? Could they then transfer those funds into a plan that, say, the company had that they were going to?
Through your worship, I believe not. If they leave here and go to a different municipality and continue their career in local government, they can transfer it.
So then what happens to those funds?
Then they will receive them at the end of their
They can withdraw them
Withdraw
or
them
transfer
or-
them
yeah.
into something else.
It would be liquidated then, so with, like tax implications there. Yeah.
Well, same as
Anything
RSPs.
Yeah, but. So usually, like an RSP, like regardless, you can transfer from, one vehicle to another and keep it protected. What's that?
I'm pretty sure with this, it looks like you can do one.
Even with LAP?
As long as you're putting it directly into an RRSP, it's.
Okay, so so it would still be protected, as like protected income, even if they're not part of the LAP program anymore, it could be transferred out. So, yeah, I guess those are the kind of things that people would really need to understand.
Did you want to say something?
No, that's my only concern is, like, coming from private industry, we had, RPP or RSP or whatever you call it, program through Richardson, and, we had it through Viterra, and when they switched, so I was in Viterra, and when Viterra ceased to own the properties here and I became a Richardson employee, my RSP program was able to just switch over to whatever they had. The funds that were in there just rolled over. There was no tax implications. And that's what I'm wondering is, because this is a government program, is it transferable to a private one like Sun Life or MetLife or whatever it happens to have in a retirement plan? Can it be rolled into those or whatever a company would be using? So that they aren't put into a tax situation where all of a sudden their funds come out and they're paying 50% tax on it.
I think those are all good questions and probably questions that need to be answered but we've been kicking this can down the road for about 8 months now. I agree with the deputy mayor. We probably shouldn't be making the decision for the staff, but we've already talked to some staff that have said no way. That's why we found out whether some wished to go in it, they could, and some that didn't have to.
I'm fine with that. I think that it's a good program for retirement because anybody that's taken their RRSPs and then just pulling them out and using them for enhanced income is not setting themselves out very well for retirement, and guaranteed they're not going to retire on their CPP. So I think the town should have some kind of a system where they're paying into it for their retirement, and if they decide to leave the town and go someplace else, it should be transferable into whatever that company they're going to has for a pension plan or a RSP plan. That's all I'm concerned about.
And I don't know what kind of a financial, like, how it's gonna impact our people when they're, okay, this person's RSP, this is LAP. Like, that's all things you have to figure out.
So on the one issue, I think if someone left the municipal world, they don't have to transfer it. They can just leave it in the LAPP until such time as they retire, and then they would start to draw at that time on whatever entitlement that they'd accrued. But I'm prepared to move the recommendation.
Any more questions on it? All right, all in favor of the recommendation? Carried. Okay, down to new business, the Canada Post, under review. As you all know, it's under, with the Canada Labour Code. Maybe things have settled down and people aren't as angry with Canada Post, but I think we need to address this in some sense, send a resolution, giving our support as a rural community. Because as you know, it doesn't really matter to us whether there's door-to-door service, but it does matter that we do have some sort of letter delivery up in the rural Canada. So I don't know, have you all had a chance to read that? It's kind of the same as it was. It's in information. But they are looking for a resolution that would be sent to to the commission that they can present to, the labor board. Any questions? None? So, then I will make that motion that, we send a written submission. There is a resolution page there which we can put on our letterhead and sign. So my motion is to go forward with that, sending that to the commission. All in favor? Carried. Glad you're not mad at Canada Post anymore.
Never was. Who are you talking to?
Small businesses, you need Canada Post. Okay, the next one is the municipal development, plan that, the Mackenzie County has, submitted the application for and to work with us. Who is tasked to working on this on our behalf?
Good evening, that would be myself, and it's for the intermunicipal
Or,
development.
sorry, yes, the intermunicipal. Sorry. I guess they wouldn't be doing our development plan, would they? So you're tasked with this, just you?
Thanks for the question. Currently, we're setting up a meeting administratively to discuss how it's going to work. It'll be myself, my counterpart at the county, and then both CAOs, and we'll develop a game plan and then bring, each of us will bring it to our respective council, and we'll have some proposals on how we'll be able to move forward with it and what the team will be made up of and when check-ins will be, who will be checking in with, and so on.
Okay, have you had a first meeting yet?
No, not yet. We met with them in the fall to discuss the application and kind of come to some common understandings on some things, but we haven't had a meeting since we were approved.
Okay, is there going to be any public engagement, First Nations engagement?
Yeah, that'll all be part of it. And those are requirements under the MGA to host public hearings, and we'll do engagement over and above that.
Okay. So you'll let us know when this is happening? Thank you. Is there any question? Oh, Deputy Mayor?
Isn't part of the 95,000, like in the past, for them to hire a facilitator to assist the municipalities in getting this done?
Thanks for the question. That's correct. We would be hiring a consultant to come on and lead us all the way through the process. We would be involved in the policy writing and setting up engagement events and collaborating with them, but the consultant would be kind of spearheading the day-to-day work on it.
Okay. Any other questions? Could I have someone move those Canada Post, or the intermunicipal development plan for information, please? Councillor Lebrion, all in favor? Carried. That leaves one item under information. Could I have someone? Yes, go ahead. On what? Information?
No, I know you kind of covered it in your mayor's report, just on the Strategic Aviation Advisory Council
Right.
letter that we received. Are we able to provide them with the study that we just completed on our airport and the things that we,
Well, there are some questions in there.
is that not something that we could provide to them to show that we already did a lot of the legwork on that?
Well, they're kind of looking for specific questions, but we will use that report.
Because they talked about future air carriers and stuff in that
Yeah.
report, so it's good.
So moving on to correspondence for information. Any questions about the High Level Transportation Society? Did you get any more drivers? No?
Still looking for drivers.
Yeah?
I was at the Alberta Health or whatever the meeting they held with all the different organizations in town, and brought that to their attention that what the handy van's used for, what it can be used for, making them aware that it is a volunteer organization, not paid, and that drivers are volunteer, and then brought up the subject with them that we are always looking for drivers. Right now, we're down to basically one driver, so if he's not available, the van isn't available.
Okay, thank you. I wish I was a better driver, but Jan has his license.
I don't.
Oh, I thought
Hey
you-
Brent, is there evening shifts and stuff that people can volunteer for with them?
There is no evening shifts as per se a shift. The driver is only called upon to drive the van when there's a client that wants to use it. And the clients have to book it through AHS, so the hospital. So if there's no appointments, no bookings for it, then there's no driver requested, right? But it runs 5 days a week, basically, from 8 in the morning till 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, kind of is the time. But you need to book a day in advance so that they can have a driver available. And there's some other things like if you're in a wheelchair, you need to provide somebody with you with that to be able to help tie down the wheelchair when it's put into the van. It's not really up to the driver to do that. Most of our drivers are senior citizens themselves. And, you know, they're not being asked, or they're being asked to wrestle wheelchairs in the snow, and it's becoming quite an issue. So most of the wheelchairs people have either home care or somebody from the hospital that helps, but not all of them do at all the time, so it can be an issue. The van is a 14-passenger van, including the driver. It can be used for other community events if requested, and used after hours, but the driver has to be an approved driver for the society. So just because you have a Class 1 doesn't mean you can drive the handy van. There's some criteria with their regulations in the society that have to be gone through before you are a registered driver. But there's very little use or very little activity used in the evenings for it. Very, very little.
Sometimes they go to.
Well, they've toured
Wayne
the.
or Fort Vermilion.
Yeah, they tour. You know, they did the lights. The Christmas lights. They will go to Rocky Lane for their suppers. They might go to Fort Vermilion for one of their suppers, but that's, you know, once or twice a year. Most of the time, it's always during the day.
And you need a vulnerable criminal check.
Yeah, that's the big thing is you need the criminal check, and I think there's a couple other criteria. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that leaves me in. All right, thank you for that. So could I have someone move information for information, please?
I'll move information.
Thank you, Councillor Anderson. All in favor? Carried. Any questions? No? Okay. Could I have someone move us in camera then? Oh, come up here, please.
I've always found it interesting, and to know that I see some familiar faces up here from living here for so long. I was just, I didn't know if I was able to speak when you guys were also discussing a couple of these matters, like the
You can't speak while we're speaking, but you can speak now. You can ask us questions now.
Yeah. I guess it was like you were saying, how it would be the process so that you would be able to have consultation with the area First Nations when it comes to developing a municipality. And I'm happy to hear that that's how it is, and that's the step that we're taking now, because it's for a long time, I guess, we've been out of the picture in a way. And it goes the same for what a lot of some of the community members in Chate and Meander Rivers who I'd be familiar with, to not be aware of a lot of the stuff that happens, including my chief and council. I'm not sure if if any have ever come to your guys' meetings while you guys were here, but I've always asked them to attend your guys' meetings and also the MD, because it's intergovernmental and it's very important to be working together. And sometimes large projects can be on hold just because of the consultation process happening. So it's always nice. But I came here today and I didn't do all my homework. And not only did I not do all my homework, but I also, when I dropped my kids off for babysitting at my mother's house, I left my pieces of paper there that I was just gonna look over, but I just wanted to get a feeling for the room, because I've never had a chance to come here and sit with you guys and to see how it is that you guys perform your duties as opposed to how my leadership does it, right? So I like the professionalism that I see here, and the way that like to even see something that's more than one piece of paper when I go to my meeting, as opposed to seeing this is it makes me happy to know that you guys do your business in the way that it is. So yeah, I just came to I just wanted to just mention that it's nice that you guys are doing the consultation with us. And when I was looking, I read, and so do my kids, the Truth and Reconciliation Handbook for the 94 Calls to Action. And in there, even my leadership might not know, but there, with the commission, there is funds available for them to also travel with you guys to Port Vermilion. And a lot of times, that invitation has to be given out to leadership in order for them to attend. So, but yeah, I just wanted to say, yeah, I appreciate it. And this is the first time I came to sit down, so I just wanted to say my social teacher is the mayor of my town right now. So it's always nice to see something like that happen, for sure.
We're sitting up here with the 94 calls to action right here at our fingertips.
That's right. My kids, it's in our bathroom. My kids that's their reading material as well. Yeah. But yes, I'll come again once I have the information that I want to present to you guys, and go from there.
You're welcome here anytime we have a meeting.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's we have a meeting the third or the second Monday of every month. And then we have a committee of whole, which is the next Monday, and the final Monday we have a meeting again.
Okay. All right.
And they're all live streamed as well if you can't make it.
Okay. I didn't know. Yeah, I see it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, thank you.
Madam Mayor, just before you leave,
Cameron?
Oh, yes.
so if you're interested in more than just a piece of paper, if you go onto the high-level website, under government, you select council. Every meeting agenda, every set of minutes is there. And then if you go into policies, procedures, and bylaws, everything is available online. So you can have a look at that. And usually when you come to a meeting, there's a extra full agenda package or two printed and waiting. So if you don't print it off, you can always pick it up here.
Excellent.
Thank you. So could I have someone move us into in-camera, please?
I'll move it.
All in favor? Carried. So now we're in camera. You have to leave, sorry. You're welcome. Thank you for attending.